Marie Duggan wants to top the $100,000 mark for the second year in a row as Romeo looks for her third title of the year. Lisa Wagner has title number 30 lurking just around the corner. And Sill, who won last week in Kent, Michigan, she's on a roll. But at the top of the ladder is Adler. Her renewed confidence leaves her at the top of her game. These 5 top bowlers are in Rockford, Illinois, headquarters for the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, as we get ready for tonight's championship round finals. ESPN and the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour are proud to present the championship round finals of the Hammer Players Championship. Welcome everybody to the Cherry Bowl, just an hour and a half outside of Chicago, site of this inaugural Hammer Players Championship. Hi folks, I'm John Neighbor, and along with me is Lisa Wagner. What a star-studded all-star event it's going to be today. All of our finalists have already won 1 title this year. Some of them have won 2 titles. And starting at the number 1 position, Adler. She was our most recent winner 2 weeks ago at the last Hammer-sponsored tournament.
John, Kim is just at the top of her game right now. She has won 1 title, singles title. She's won 1 doubles title. She's full of confidence, and she is in the best possible position. She is guaranteed to be in the championship match. She's 3-1 in that position, and it's a good thing because it's not going to be easy to win the title tonight. The other 4 players share over 60 years of professional experience and 82 national titles.
The bowlers in the 2 and 3 position are the 2 most titled athletes currently competing in the sport.
They are, and that is Sill and Lisa Wagner. These 2 players dominated the tour in the 80s. They both joined the tour in 1980, and their careers are far from over. Sill won the event last week. Lisa Wagner is making her 3rd appearance here in the fall. If we see a matchup between these 2 players, it'll be between 2 of the greatest women bowlers of all time.
But before we even get to that point, our number 4 and 5 qualifiers, Romeo won the Robbie Award last year, and last year's Bowler and Player of the Year, Marie Duggan, starts at number 5. Interestingly, Isla, these 2 bowlers have the high and the low average on this TV pair. Marie Duggan averaged 196.25, so this will be an uphill battle for her if the lanes have not changed for her overnight.
A lot at stake for Marie tonight, John. If she can go all the way up the ladder, win this event, she could close up the gap in the Bowler of the Year race with Tish Johnson.
Gets it started with a strike in the first. Robin's already won 2 events on this year's tour. 16 titles in all. 38-year-old out of Newhall, California. Donated half of her last winnings purse to the victims of the Oklahoma City bombing. And she answers back.
One of Robin's goals is to win an event in each of the swings. We have a fall swing, a winter swing, spring, and summer, and she took off the summer, and she did win in the winter, and she did win in the spring. So she says, I only have 2 more events left. Hopefully I'll capture the title this week.
Right. She says, if I don't win this week, I'll have to win next week, and I don't want to put that much pressure on myself.
Robin re-racking. She has allowed 2 re-racks.
It should be noted that Robin is a member of the Hammer Pro staff, and Hammer, of course, the sponsor of this week's event.
First year that we've had a Players' Championship. Could become a national, or one of our majors, I should say, and end up being part of a Grand Slam. We won't just have a Triple Crown, we'll have a Grand Slam.
There will be 4 majors. 215.92 average for Marie Duggan. She's number 1 on tour this year. Her average is a little bit better, 215.96 on tour.
And to her, this is a really great accomplishment. She is knocking down a lot of pins this year.
She bowls right over them.
Marie takes a 5-step approach, uses all of the approach. Now, her pace in her first 2 steps is slow, then she picks them up in her next 3. That 4-step, very long, 5th step and slide, extremely long. For her to break the $100,000 barrier this week, she'll have to finish at least in 2nd place. And she's got 3 in a row heading in that direction.
Robin Romeo herself, a Lynn Shoes Player of the Year way back in 1989.
Also the Bowler of the Year in '89. Hope someday to do it again.
Little light, almost leaves the bucket. Instead, it's the 2-5.
Robin would like to wish a very good friend of hers, MJ Fall, back home in California, her best wishes. She says she's not really feeling well, and I'd like MJ to know that I'm thinking about her.
And she gets them both here in the third. We talked to her earlier. She's a proud member, as I said, of the Hammer staff, and she's been disappointed in her finish in tournaments earlier.
Yeah, Leila, Hammer, I've been on Hammer Pro staff for 5 years now, and every time they sponsor an event, I always want to do well and make the show for them, and, you know, just prove to them that they have a good bowler on their staff. And lately, every time they have a tournament, I seem to put a lot of extra pressure on myself, and I want to bowl well, and I haven't made the, like the last Hammer event, I didn't make the cut. So this week, I just try to forget that the sign was up there, that it was a Hammer tournament, and just worry about me and just bowl good, and here I am.
She has been bowling well. 221, her average on this TV pair this week.
And the guys she was talking about, John Wonders, Dennis Baldwin, presidents of Faball Enterprises, and Faball Enterprises of Maryland have been back here all week cheering the players on. And of course, they have a little extra place in their heart for their staff members.
Of course. And a quick spare here in the fourth. We'll take a short break, come back with more of this first matchup between Marie Duggan and Robin Romeo as our competition continues from the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. The 1995 Hammer Players Championship is being brought to you by Advil, advanced medicine for pain. No non-prescription pain reliever is proven to last longer than Advil. And we see how Marie Duggan holds up to the pressure. She's got a turkey. And hit a little high. So the streak stops now, leaving the 2-4.
Marie playing an outside line right around the first arrow. Players were playing both inside this week and outside. Key to get the ball pretty straight through the front part of the lane. Rely on the back end to bring it into the pocket.
As Marie crosses over, we remind you that she's earned 1 title this year in Kansas City and Overland Park. 12 titles in her career. 11-pin lead in entering the 5th frame.
Marie actually began her career in 1983 as the Ebonite Rookie of the Year.
Strike in the 5th.
Robin's 2-0 against Marie in TV matches. She averages 226 against her, very close to her television pair average of 221. She'd like to keep that streak going, but right now she's trailing by 11 pins.
Ooh, leaving the 4.
Ball set up pretty good. Just a little bit light. 4-pin doesn't carry.
Trailing by 12.
Chance to see just how that 4-pin is left. Watch the ball hit real high on the head pin. Head pin up against the wall. 4-pin remains.
And an easy spare. 2 titles already this year for Robin Romeo. A 3rd one could put her in the lead for the Bowler Player of the Year.
Size of the field this week, 71 players. Good scores. Average to make match play 210. And you can see there 215. Average to make it to the television show. And of course, the average to cash is a little lower.
Striking the 6.
And you could hear her yell, carry. She wanted that one. actually a long format this week, too. The players didn't just bowl 18 games of qualifying. They bowled 24 games of qualifying. Then the cut was made to the top 24, where they bowled 24 games of match play.
Might also note the colder weather in Illinois affecting some of the players. Oh, Ringington.
It affected Anne-Marie last night. She said it was extremely cold in the building. And it was difficult to hang on to the ball. Had to add a little tape here and there, and it's tough to have a tendency to squeeze the ball and not make good shots. Backs up the ball.
Quick spare in the 6th.
This is Anne-Marie's first ball. Watch the 6-pin just ring around the 10.
As Dugan crosses over, she's enjoying a 12-pin lead. She enters the 7th frame with a spare in the 6th. Anne-Marie, the high pin average on tour right now. Very consistent. 2-4-5-7.
Anne-Marie told me when she was practicing, the lanes seemed a little bit wet dry, and that's a term a lot of professionals, a lot of amateurs might use when the lanes are a little drier on the outside, a little more oil in the center of the lane. What happens then when you hit the oil in the center of the lane? The ball slides. When you hit the dry a little too quick, the ball hooks a little too sharp. Actually did that with that ring at 10. That time the ball slid.
Picks up the spare here in the 7th frame. Marie Duggan with now only an 8-pin advantage, where Robin Romeo will come back with the conclusion of this first match in just a moment. Here's the spare shot by Marie Duggan in the 7th.
Key spare, not an easy spare. 4-pin just taking out the 7 off the wall.
So as Anne-Marie sits down, Robin Romeo steps up for the 7th and 8th frames.
Very close match in match play. Robin in the off season here. The ladies do end next week. Then the Merit Doubles Tournament is going to be planning her wedding.
Big strike in the 7th frame. That's going to give her a lead here by 2 pins.
And look at the scoreboard. As you can see, that strike gave her a lead by 2. One more, she could increase it to 12. And as I was mentioning, she is going to be planning her wedding. She's planning to be married August 10th to Bill Massanti. And we want to wish her all the best and all the luck.
I'm sure a lot of players have to postpone their personal life until their days on tour are numbered. Robin Romeo at 38 years of age. Oh! And she can't get the 4.
Really wanting that to carry. Hits it a little bit more, but the ball snaps a little too hard in the back end. Almost left at 4-9, which would have been disastrous at this point in the match.
Her lead drops to a single pin. Coming up, women's basketball on Friday, November 10th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as we go to Palo Alto, California. Stanford finished 3rd in the NCAA championships last year. Their coach is now coaching the USA national basketball team. So ESPN's coverage of women's basketball, USA versus Stanford, coming up Friday. Ooh, bucket in the 8th. So that'll hand more pins to Romeo.
6 counts on spares can hurt you, as they are hurting Anne-Marie right now. She was trying to figure out probably how to get the 10 out, and in turn, she was trying to delay the hook.
And again, she lucks out with a fortuitous spare.
What Anne-Marie was trying to do was delay the hook on her first ball, and she didn't come up light enough. Now watch the spare again. The 2-pin off the wall ends up taking out the 8. That's what you use those walls for. So, yeah, no problem. Here's the pin action again. 2-pin off the wall takes out the 8. Normally you might call that a messenger on the first ball.
And was just happy to have them all fall down. As she leaves the 10 in the foundation frame. Interesting note, Anne-Marie is 1 for 10 on games on TV. Her last 10 games, she's lost 9 of them.
Wow.
So although she does great all week long, when she gets to TV recently, in the last couple of weeks, she's had a difficult time. She even said she's putting her father in the stands.
But prior to that, John, she was 10-3 at the start of the '94 season. So it's interesting to see how a player's career just goes up and down, just like a roller coaster.
So as Dugan sits down with the spare in the ninth, Robin Romeo a chance. Leads by 6. Yes. Very important for her there.
Robin recently reached a very important goal of hers. She was inducted into the WIBC Hall of Fame this past May. Said that was the ultimate.
She can clinch it here in the 10th with a mark.
Best possible score for Marie Duggan, 219. Robin Romeo strikes.
Just gets 9.
All right, actually, Anne-Marie still has a shot, even if Robin picks it up. Robin can shoot 215. Anne-Marie can shoot 219. She'll have to get up and double.
Well, we'll find out if the hammer curse is working on Robin right about now.
I don't think it's a curse anymore.
She doesn't either.
No.
She doesn't either.
It was just a curse trying to get there.
Okay, she'll get a fill ball in the 10th.
You know, it's difficult to want to bowl good, and that's that much more pressure you place on yourself, and Robin overcame that this week, so now she has something to fall back on. Anne-Marie knows what she has to do, and she has not been successful on lane 10 yet. She came out of the gate throwing 3 strikes, but the lane conditioner started carrying down. Lanes are getting a little bit more to be a puzzle for her.
Well, she didn't get them all, but she got quite a few.
Enough to force Marie Duggan to get 2 strikes. Plus 6 pins.
214, Romeo's final score. That's an impressive one right there.
Really trusted the ball, went farther right. That ball making it back. A wonderful match in the final match of the position round last night, too. Anne-Marie needed to mark in the 10th to beat Tish Johnson. It was a close one there. This lady right here is good under pressure.
Well, what can you say? Robin is sitting watching with nothing left for her to do except to see how this ball turns out. Anne-Marie, if she gets 9, she'll advance. 8, we have a tie. We go into extra innings, if you will. Roll off of 2 more frames.
Actually, she needs 6 pins to win. And that's enough.
Didn't matter either way. She gets a turkey in the 10th and gets the chance, the opportunity to advance. When we come back, we'll show you the other top 24 finishers who competed here in Rockford, Illinois, as our coverage continues from the Cherry Bowl as part of the Hammer Players Championship. Moving along in the competition, Marie Duggan defeating Lisa Wagner in the second match, now faces Sill. Handshake will start. Match number 3, John Neighbor with Lisa Wagner here at Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois for the Hammer Players Championship. Inaugural event. This prize purse a little bit more than most of the other events.
And look at the lane breakdown for Marie Duggan. Nothing has changed. Both these lanes appear to be equal to her. She's starting out just like she did the other 2 matches.
A strike in the first 3 times in a row as Sill gets the chance now to show us what she's been preparing for. Very consistent performer on tour. Could make it 2 titles in a row with a victory here.
Actually, Alita had a couple years back in the early 90s. She struggled, but in the past 2 seasons, she is 17-5 for her TV record.
Wasting no time at all. She steps up and delivers a strike. Lisa Sill has finished in the top 2 places in 10 of the last 11 championship round finals in which she has appeared. 216.96 her average this week.
One of the toughest mental games on tour.
Interestingly, the parallel is with Bjorn Borg in the sport of tennis. When he was a teenager, he threw a racket, and his father kicked him out of the sport for a while. She was 16. She kicked a ball return in anger, and her parents said, "That's it. You do that again, you're out." She has since put her emotions very much under control.
A lot of players out here have learned by Alita. They use her as a role model. Average on TV pair, 214. Interesting. Marie Duggan's is 196, and what a difference a day makes.
It's true. Quick spare in the second. Let's see how well Anne-Marie controls her emotions.
Well, after shooting 258 last game, high game this week, 299. 2 300 shot, one by Kim Adler, the other by Dana Miller-Mackey.
What's it like bowling against someone who's rolling 12 in a row in match play?
Well, you actually root for them at that point. It's obvious they're going to win the match, and you know how it feels to shoot a 300, so you want them to accomplish that as well.
Do you say anything? Do you do the high fives anymore, or you just kind of ignore them like a pitcher in the 7th inning?
No, I think actually you start cheering them on, and you might do a little bit of low fives, not so much high fives out there.
Dennis Baldwin, one of the executives of Faball here in Maryland, our gracious hosts for this tournament.
Or they're in Maryland. We're in Rockford. We were in Maryland a couple weeks ago. Too much traveling, John?
Not enough.
Not enough. It's all right. There's a few times I wake up in a hotel room and wonder what city I'm in.
What side of the bed is the phone on this week?
That's right.
A little high. Leaving the 6-7-10. Another one of the executives from Faball attending this competition, John Wonders, put together a great tournament, and he'll be presenting our trophy after the competition is over tonight.
Anne-Marie hit the dry area of the lane very early. That shot, look at this. Oh, nice try, almost threw the 6-pin into the 7.
Anne-Marie's first open frame in 3 games.
Watch the shot here, 6-pin. Oh, just slides right behind the 7. So close. She defeated Marie Duggan, 213 to 188 in match play.
Leaving the 10.
A little bit light, does not get the carry from the head pin off the wall. You can see she's trying to figure it out a little bit, or talking to herself a little bit. Saying, what can I do to change that?
This year, Alita's 6th on the money rankings with $66,000 and change. And she picks up the spare as we take a look at our finalists by rounds this week.
Marie Duggan up there from the start to the finish of the qualifying and finals round. Alita Sill making one of the biggest moves from 23rd. She said she's been drilling up a lot of equipment. Well, that helped her out. The rest of the players pretty consistent in the top 24 all week. And as I mentioned in the first match, it was a longer qualifying format, too. The players had to bowl an additional 6 games of qualifying.
5, 6, 10. We talked to her about drilling up the extra balls this year. She's been consistent on the tour, but this swing, she's doing this a little differently.
Yes, I've drilled a lot of equipment in the last 5 or 6 weeks, more than I have probably in the last, I'd say, 2 years. Joan Mose has been working with me on the night rounds. I've struggled a lot, and we've been just trying to find an answer through my bowling balls, what's going to help me get through them.
She leaves an opening in the 4th frame. She could have made great headway against Marie Duggan. Also in the crowd, John Falzone, president of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. He gets to sleep in his own bed this week. He knows what side of the bed the phone's on.
That's right. We are in the city of the home of the LPBT, Rockford, Illinois. You can see the difference in the line that Anne-Marie is playing. That ball went out to about the second or third board. Other shots have stayed real tight around the 5 or 6 board.
John Summer, proprietor here and chairman of the board of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour.
And next to him is lovely wife Nancy, friends of mine for many years.
Do the athletes become socially friendly with the management?
Oh, most definitely. The reason these players are here is because of the management, and the women know that. We appreciate it. We put on a good show for the house, and they appreciate us, and we appreciate them, and it's a good marriage.
Indeed. Anne-Marie missing 2 pins, leaving the 4-7 here in the 5th frame.
When Anne-Marie hits the dry boards a little too quick, the ball hooks up a little early. It's going to have to start moving a little left, get the ball a little tighter up the oil. Fortunately for her, Alita Sill has not run away with it.
Coming up on Sunday, the New York City Marathon on ESPN. 26 miles running through the 5 boroughs of the Big Apple. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 in the morning Pacific. Of course, subject to local blackout on the Deuce.
How's your running capabilities, John?
I think I'm more comfortable just sitting and talking. Oh, look at this. We have a balk.
Exactly. You don't see that too often in bowling, but it's wonderful that she's able to step back, regroup. Apparently, something happened in her approach.
Working on the open. And she finds the spot once again.
Kind of shaking her head. You can almost tell Alita's not feeling quite as comfortable. Last week, the crowd was behind her. She felt good. She felt comfortable. Right now, she's unsettled.
We didn't get enough time at the end of the championship match last week to point out that her victory last week, 25th title, ties her as number 2 on the all-time list with Patty Costello. A victory here this week puts her into the 2nd place by herself, behind Lisa Wagner. 2 in a row. So Alita gets a seat. We'll take a short break, and match number 3 will continue, and our coverage returns to the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. Welcome back. While we were gone, Dugan struck twice. Alita Sill struck her 3rd in a row in the 7th. She's stepping up now in the 8th with a 9-pin lead.
Alita coming off of a re-rack will be allowed 1 more. I know the ladies wanted to thank William Hemmer. He's from ChiroMed Physicians, the chiropractors on hand this week. Out here fixing the women's bones, I guess.
Oh, there you go. The 4-7-10 big split.
Big error here by Alita. Let up on the ball speed, hit the dry quick. Ball hooks through the nose. Nice break for Anne-Marie Dugan. Chiropractors on hand week in and week out. Ladies love the fact that they are here and available to them.
Well, nice attempt. 1/4 of an inch more, she might have picked it up, but she settles for 8 pins in the 8th and sits down as Anne-Marie now working on 2 in a row.
Big turnaround. Anne-Marie now leads by 8 and can make it 18 with a strike here.
Seven does not cooperate.
5-pin just stopped short of hitting the 7. Anne-Marie looking at the scoreboard. A lot of times you see players look at the scoreboard. They know exactly what they need. Other players don't even look up. Anne-Marie is a player that likes to know what the score is.
And picks up the spare here in the 8th frame. The Hammer Players Championship taking place at Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. The last stop before the tour goes to Samstown in Las Vegas. Anne-Marie Duggan, having defeated Romeo, and Lisa Wagner, is now fighting against Alita Sill. in the third match as she enjoys a small lead coming into the foundation frame. I'm John Neighbor along with Lisa Wagner as we watch the strike occur, setting her up nicely. In the last 2 games, she's had 5 strikes in 10th frames.
Big frame for Anne-Marie, the 9th frame with that foundation strike. Right now, Lisa Sill can shoot 208. She would force Marie Duggan to throw 2 strikes in the 10th.
We saw Anne-Marie do just that in match number 2. Fortunately for Sill, 7-pin did not fall. Alida with 4 strikes in the first 8 frames. She really needs them now.
Alida, in 10 of her last 11 championship round appearances, has finished either first or second. Tonight, this is slipping away. 198. She forces Dugan to get the first strike. If Alida can strike out here. She needs all 3.
There's one. Very good one.
You don't get 25 national titles without having to perform.
There's a little emotion. I just caught a glimpse on Alida's face. Anne-Marie deep in thought, I'm sure. Well, the next 2 balls will determine if we see that shirt next week.
That's right. Plus one more match.
That's true.
Alida's trying to win the Grand Slam. She already has the Triple Crown. Oh, 4 pin slaps the 7 late.
She's doing all she can do at this point.
That's right. Once again, pressure is going to be placed on Anne-Marie Duggan. She is going to have to strike.
Last time Alida Sill won the title in Rockford was in 1984. And by leaving 2 pins, the final score 196. Needs a strike and 6 for Anne-Marie as she takes a re-rack.
Anne-Marie has taken a re-rack. She could be calming herself down. There is a chance the pins are off spot. We have seen the players re-rack.
In the position round, Anne-Marie was trailing by 30 pins in the 3rd frame, and she chose to use a re-rack to regain her composure. Over Tish Johnson, and look, it seems to be having a similar effect tonight.
Wow, what a superb shot. It just doesn't get any better than that shot right there.
That's a classic shot. She needed a strike and 6. Now she only needs the count.
She has good thoughts from coming from the 5th position. She has won the WIBC Queens tournament from that position.
Oh, yes, indeed. A minimum of 2 strikes every time Anne-Marie is bowled in the 10th. We saw the prize money at $4,700 for Alida Sill, and by a victory here, Anne-Marie guarantees that she'll break $100,000 her 2nd consecutive year.
The other tournament she won from the number 5 position, John, was the U.S. Open. 2 of the Triple Crown.
Big ladder to climb as she gets them all for the turkey in the 10th and an easy victory. When we come back, championship frame awaits. Our coverage continues. Stay with us. Championship match begins with the traditional handshake as Anne-Marie Duggan once again is given the opportunity to start off on lane number 9. $16,000 prize to the winner.
Lane breakdown, lane 10. Now she's finished the 10th frame on lane 10, all 3 matches, so she's thrown a couple extra shots, but they're playing pretty even to her.
First game she has not struck.
I have to question Kim's decision here, John, to force Anne-Marie Duggan to finish again on lane 10. She's been so successful starting out matches, starting out good, but again, it's for a title. It's not just for the match. So, you know, you never know what's going through a player's head.
Well, Anne-Marie will deny it, but Bowler of the Year is going through our head as we watch her potentially winning her second title. Anne-Marie's would tie 5 or 6 other bowlers with 2 titles apiece and would really close the gap with Tish Johnson for that honor this year with a victory here. Kim Adler, of course, she's won a doubles earlier, single 2 weeks ago. This could be her 3rd title.
Kim might just want to post score and say, hey, let Anne-Marie have to beat me. And so far, that's what's happened in all 3 matches. Superb matches coming up. Anne-Marie has had to mark, had to strike in every match to win.
Earlier in the year, Kim had really some dismal performances on television until about a month ago. She started shaking loose that worry.
If any of those our fans saw the men's show last night, Ernie Schlegel had the attitude of, just come get me, and maybe that's what Kim Adler is taking, that type of attitude tonight.
Leaving the 10-pin in the 2nd frame. Kim and her husband, newlywed husband, less than a year ago. In December of '94, Tom Adler joined her, and they travel in a mobile home. And they call that place home, even though she hails from the state of Florida, where they keep their furniture in storage.
And as you mentioned, there's Tommy. Tommy's brother and sister-in-law were also able to come out this week. They might be here tonight.
Jake and Barb.
Help cheer Kim on.
Finds the pocket.
I don't know, John. Anne-Marie is going to be tough to beat. She has figured out what it takes to get 10.
And she talked about earlier about not wanting to start so high, wanting to work up the ladder. Seems to have better success for her than it has much of this swing.
Last title. Only title of the year, $70,000 AMF XS Challenge. Came in Overland Park, Kansas in March.
Leaving the 10.
And a little extra stare from Anne-Marie at that, trying to say, I probably thought I felt, or that felt real well, thought that was going to carry. Now she's going to have to try to make a slight adjustment.
You say bowlers are superstitious. Anne-Marie's won 12 titles. Is the number 13 something that she's...
Guarantee you she's not even thinking about that.
Not even worried about it.
No. You've got to eventually get over 13. You've got to hit 13 in order to get to 14.
Adler with a strike and a spare.
No, but I can guarantee you she's thinking about the bowler of the year. TV pair average 217. So far, we can tell those averages aren't really coming into play.
Really not significant at all, as the 4 is tripped up from behind as she gets her strike.
As Marie Duggan has averaged 196 on the TV pair before tonight.
Here's the trophy. A Hammer trophy at stake here at the Players' Championship.
And look at the last shot. Wow, high on the head pin. Lucky break here as the head pin tripped the 4.
Little high, leaving the 2-7.
We use that term as a little light, John. High is when the ball goes very solid onto the head pin. Light is when it barely hits the head pin.
I thought I saw it being high.
High. On the left, if that would have hit high on the head pin, it would have carried the 2-pin. But because it was light, the head pin shot in front of the 2-pin. Now, Kim is going to try to fit the ball between the 2 and 7.
Looks good.
We'll get you into this bowling stuff yet.
Call me a fan. Anne-Marie Duggan, working on a spare in the 3rd.
Yeah, I heard you shoot up last week after the show.
Yeah.
What was that high game?
Gee, so long ago I forget.
Yeah.
But, you know, house ball, that's how it works.
It was good. It was decent.
Oh.
Come on, I can't swim like you. Did you shoot 140 something?
Oh, I think I was about there. Here's the strike.
All right.
Frame number 4. I think I was over 140 once.
That's not bad. That's
right.
not bad. That's league potential right in there.
Well, I bowled on the TV pair. You know,
there you
condition. Twice she's climbed the ladder.
And those 2 titles from the number 5 seed, 2 biggies, the 2 majors, the WIBC Queens and the U.S. Open. She can make it a 3rd major tonight.
And they're falling for Marie Duggan now in the 5th frame. Adler steps up. He's been alternating strikes and spares. If that pattern continues, this ball should be a strike. Coming up, Cadillac is presenting the Senior PGA Tour Championship on Thursday, November 9th through Sunday the 12th. Top 31 players on the money list competing, including Lee Trevino, Jack Nicklaus, Dave Stockton. Last year, it was a sudden death 5-hole playoff. Good action in store there, but great action in store here. As the pattern does continue with Adler striking her 3rd time in the championship match.
Kim's title earlier this year. Felt like she really got the monkey off her back last 2 weeks ago in Baltimore. Prior to that tournament, she rolled games 129, 163, 205, and 188 during this year's televised finals. But that tournament, she threw 213 and 247. Says, I'm a new person.
Feeling good. Leaving the 4. Tommy, computer wizard and a professional foosball player in his heyday.
Do they make a lot of money?
Well, actually,
Professional foosball players?
he made a couple of big prizes. I think he won a couple of cars playing foosball.
Wow. Well, Kim's been working a lot on her mental game. Tommy's been a big asset in that.
Helping her focus. Spare in the 6th.
And the word there is focus, and focusing on the right things. A lot of times you get out here and you start focusing on the wrong things.
Marie leading by 10.
If Marie wins this title tonight, Bob Pike is not going to be able to ever
for the rest of his career.
get off the show.
Oh, leaving the 6.
And there's Bob, as I mentioned, sitting right next to Tommy.
He doesn't say much. He's very tight-lipped.
Very.
Sits with his arms crossed, very.
You know why? Marie is one of 5 women, 5 girls in the family.
He's used to not saying much around the house. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm sure that has really developed his character. How much can you get in with 5 women, or five kids?
I have a wife and daughter, and I don't say much at my house.
9
pins.
pins. Close. Every match has been great. Very close. Marie re-racking again. She's averaged 228 for tonight. Marie has.
High game of the evening, 258 in the 2nd match.
Finished 2nd in this event in 1991.
On the re-rack, leaves a 10-pin. She shakes her head, unable to discern the trick to this. Her lead drops to 8 pins.
When she finished 2nd, she lost that event to Carol Norman by just 2 pins. Match was 195 to 193. Oh! Says, wait a minute. I backed that ball up. I can't miss that. Big smile. Whew. Watch this. The ball is not rotating to the left, but barely caught the paint on that shot.
Oh.
Thank you. Big relief smile.
Trails by 8. Finds the pocket. So the pattern continues. Strike spare, strike spare. Heading for 200.
Kim 3-1 in a championship match. She's only been here 4 times.
In fact, Kim's very first television show was in Rockford, Illinois in 1992.
And she has fond memories. She said she lost to Carol Giannotti, but Carol Giannotti went on to win that event.
They do that a lot in tennis. You know, I was eliminated in the first round, but I lost to the event.
To the winner.
So
exactly.
2 in a row. The pattern is broken. in a good way for Kim. Now, Dugan trails by 2. Working on a spare.
8th top 5 appearance of this year.
She's not going down without a fight. Last year, Anne-Marie, bowler and player of the year, cashed in all 22 tournaments. Very consistent, very well-conditioned player.
Practices about 75 games a week, really works at her game. Look at the scoreboard there. Anne-Marie can go off the sheet for 238. Kim Adler can go off for 240.
Big position frame ball.
John, Anne-Marie treats this sport as this is her job. She goes to the bowling center when she practices for 8 hours a day. I mean, meanwhile, Kim Adler is taking a re-rack. This is her 3rd re-rack. She was allowed 2. She had to call in our tournament director, Rick Nelson. He came in, he okayed it. She re-racked. Kim can close the door by throwing a strike here in the 9th, 2 strikes, and 9 pins in the 10th.
Good start. Makes it 3 in a row in the foundation frame.
It appears she has that come-and-get-me attitude right now. Let me post the score.
Her demeanor, it's interesting, isn't it? I used to find her so almost demure, but this last month, she's been aggressive. She's been tough, if not angry.
That's how she was really maybe 2 years ago when she first joined the tour.
Oh, so we will not see her close out. Anne-Marie.
If she spares, she shoots 219. If she spares strikes, it'll be 219. She would force Anne-Marie Duggan to strike, so pin count is very important for Kim right now. If she spares and can strike, then she will force Anne-Marie Duggan to at least throw the first strike. Anne-Marie again looking at the scoreboard and looking at the rack. It'll be interesting to see if Anne-Marie will get up and re-rack. She's saying, just make a good shot.
Talking to herself.
Oh, a little slow on the ball speed. A 9 or a strike would have forced Anne-Marie Duggan to strike. Now she is just going to have to spare, but pin count is critical here for Anne-Marie because she is working on 2 strikes.
216, Adler's final score.
Count important here.
And as you said, she's looking for a re-rack, and she took it.
She needs 9 pins and a spare to possibly win it. 8, we could see a tie.
More than enough. That strike gave her a title. Her 13th overall, her 2nd of the year. And the crowd knows it.
What an evening for this lady. She has won. Now we are considering the Players' Championship to be a major. She has won 3 majors from the number 5 position.
That's remarkable.
And each match, she has had to strike, double, or mark in the 10th to win it. Whoa!
Taking them down from the backside again.
Well, her husband, Pat, I know is going to be thrilled to death with this win. She worked hard. She deserved it.
Easy victory, it seems at this point. $16,000, a championship here at the inaugural Hammer Players Championship. We'll be back to talk with the winner in just a moment. Stay with us. And the championship match, 238 to 216. Congratulations, Anne-Marie. John Anderson, great tournament. You have a presentation.
Well, Anne-Marie, we got a choice here for you. We got a $16,000 check or a lucky Cherry Bowl troll. Or you can have both, I guess.
I think I'll take both.
All
Thanks,
right.
John.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
I just want to thank everybody here at Cherry Bowl, John Anderson, the staff, the scorekeepers. This is the home of the LPBT, and thanks Samstown also, and it just was really a thrill to win here. Thanks.
Well, congratulations. John Wonders, also a presentation.
Anne-Marie, on behalf of everybody at Fab Ball, I'd like to present you with this trophy. Congratulations, a great tournament and a great win.
Thanks, John. I want to also thank everybody at Fab Ball Hammers. Everyone probably knows it, but thank you guys so much. I've done well in your tournaments, but I've never been able to win one, so now I finally got one. Thanks.
And now, coming with a presentation of the flowers, Sheila Lambrecht. Here you go.
Thanks, Stacy. Thank you.
I have to ask you, your second title, Player of the Year, perhaps? Who knows? We'll watch as the tournament goes to Las Vegas for the final stop on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Samstown around the corner. Congratulations, Anne-Marie.
Thanks very much.
Be sure to be with us on a new night. That's Saturday, November 18th next week at 12:30 a.m. as we visit Las Vegas for the final stop of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. It's the Samstown Invitational. Coming up next, stay tuned for all the stories and news of the PGA Tour on Inside the PGA Tour with Jay Haas.